In this episode, we wrap up our Corpus Christi stay by searching for the rare and elusive whooping crane.
Then we follow that up with a paddling trip right into their habitat and describe to you what it was like. Hi, we're John and Tandy, two retirees that are hiking, paddling, and chasing whooping cranes all over the country, one small trip at a time. Join us on our road trips of unusual size.
This week we went out on guided whooping crane tour with Ken and Lori Sims from Aransas Bay Birding Charters. 8 of us spent 4 hours on the Sims special birdwatching boats. They've been taking birders out to observe the coastal wildlife since 2003. While we saw lots of birds on this trip, our goal was to see the majestic whooping crane. Whoopers spend their winters in Rockport area each year, and we wanted to glimpse them in their habitat.
Ken and Lori can get their photography and birdwatching client close to these birds because of their experience and because of their boats. Their custom boats are shallow draft and are specifically designed for wildlife photography. The boats have elevated viewing and photography platforms above the cabins, and this higher elevation provides a great view and clear viewing angles. On our trip, Ken and Lori slowly worked the boats along the shoreline of the Aransas National Wildlife Refuge while our binoculars and cameras sought out the wildlife. Now, we'll just show you a fraction of the footage that we shot on our trip.
With the winter sun quickly dropping, our group headed for home. We'd seen some great birds and numerous whooping cranes, both solo and in family groups. And most importantly, Ken and Lori gave John and I advice on where we might paddle to find some birds on our own.
3 days later, we grabbed the kayak and our bird identification guides and headed back out there. If you look in the bottom left window, this view shows the area where we paddled. We were not in the Aransas Wildlife Refuge here, but just outside it. This peninsula is across the bridge from our home base in Rockport. Our hike in the Wildlife Refuge and our group tour all took place in this general area.
Okay, this will show you today's paddling path. That white arrow is pointing southwest toward Rockport. But in the middle of the window, at that red star, is our launching spot. We paddled a mile or so north along the wild and remote coastline.
Okay, it looks like we paddled across land here. Actually, that land is no longer there. Pretty much all this area is now underwater. I suspect Hurricane Harvey had something to do with this.
We then turned around and headed back south down the shoreline. But all the real action happens where that white star is. We found whoopers here on both our up coast and down coast legs, and we'll take you there right now.
All right, hey everybody.
Hi.
Well, we just got back in. We got the kayak loaded up on the Jeep. It was a remarkable paddle.
I think our prettiest one yet.
Yeah, I mean, we really didn't have a lot of high hopes as to what we might see out there, but we were just blown away. As you have seen in the video, we just went maybe a half a mile, maybe a mile, probably more like a half a mile up the coast from the kayak launch here, and just ran into a big flock of whooping cranes, which we never expected or really hoped to be able to see them. Of course, we wanted to see them, but you know, they just kind of do their own thing. So we got up there, and when we went past them the first time, we saw 5. We went further up the coast, we turned around, we came back down, and there were a total of 8 of them that time.
Yeah.
And they let us paddle right up to them.
They didn't care.
They weren't worried at all,
Yeah.
and it was just a once-in-a-lifetime situation, and we are enormously blessed to get to see such a rare bird as the whooping crane in those numbers.
Right, and be able to get that close without spooking them.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, fantastic paddle.
It was gorgeous.
Our last paddle in the Corpus Christi area, and it was a good one to go out on. So anyway, we will talk to you soon. Had a great day here.
For all the family members, see you soon. What's next for us? Well, we will wrap up our coastal activities, hook up our Jeep to our motorhome, and head back north. We plan to spend the next couple of weeks visiting with our family in Texas and Oklahoma. Then, we're off to West Texas. We plan to visit places like Big Bend and the Davis Mountains. We may even get a glimpse of the Marfa Lights. So, we'll say hello again from our first stop, Palo Duro Canyon.
Before we go, we want to give a huge shout out to a car dealer who just gave us some great service. This week we needed some emergency repairs on our Jeep. Star Dodge in Abilene, Texas bent over backwards to help us out. Johnny Jimenez and his team went above and beyond to get us back on the road. If you're in West Texas and need work on your Jeep or any Chrysler product, go see Johnny at Star Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.